Okay, this chapter primarily talks about a very basic introduction on how you use your options for doing risk mitigation. See, basically the intention of using any derivative is to reduce your risk. So, options as such are a very powerful instrument in this dimension because of that asymmetric payoffs that are typically associated. I mean, in case you gain, you can gain unlimited, but if you lose, you are losing pretty limited. That is the kind of asymmetric payoff that is associated with the option. So, because of that reason, what we generally observe is there are so many option trading strategies also that have come up into the market. How do you make money or how do you reduce your risk using option? Though we are not dealing with all kinds of option trading strategies here, this is just a intro subject in terms of the two key strategies to start off on using the options to reduce your risk. So getting into that aspect, we are talking of, we already know that this is the typical characteristic associated with a call option. When we say call option, buying a call option, right? What we typically look at is the loss is restricted to the amount of premium that is paid. Here, let's say we are talking of two sets of people, one who is a buyer of a call, the other who is a seller of a call. For a buyer, the typical payoff graph or the profit graph will be more like this. The reason being, let's say if this is the strike price, $50. If this is the strike price, as we were discussing, that as the market price goes above 50, he will start making a profit. So that is where we are seeing his profit is typically growing up like this. But if the market price is below 50, he will not exercise the call option, because call option is to buy the security in future at $50. The market price is below $50, so he will not exercise the call option, because of which he will expire it. So the maximum loss for him is to the extent of premium that he has paid. So assuming that $5 is the premium, at the max up to the market price of $50, the loss will be to the extent of premium, but after that he will start gaining. So the typical buy a call or long call graph will be more or less like this. Similarly, the opposite position. So here what we could see, the loss for this position is limited to $5. He will not lose beyond $5, but there is a gain of there is a possibility of gaining a bigger amount also. So that is what we talk about as asymmetric payoff. Similarly, for a seller of a call, it's opposite position. For him, the maximum gain will be $5, but there is a possibility that he can lose an unlimited kind of an amount. So for a short position, obviously he is taking a premium on day zero itself to give some kind of an option to the other party. So here the most common question that could be there is the break even point. When does a person break even typically? So as we are also saying, okay, let's say the premium is $5, long call, and the strike price is $50. So it's like today I am paying you $5 because I have bought the option, and on the expiry date I have to pay you $50 to purchase the share. Overall my cost is $55, right? So the break even for me comes only if the market price touches 55 or more, not 50. From 50 I'll start I'll start gaining something, recovering that amount to some extent. After 55, I'm going into positive, right? So that is what typically happens. So the most common thing we have to be comfortable with is the break-even point in case of call option, which is nothing but the strike price plus the premium amount for both the parties. But when we look at the put option, it's exactly the opposite side, wherein as the market price is decreasing, the party will make a profit. Long put. What is the long put? The option to sell the share at a fixed price. So let's say I have taken this option with a strike price of 50. So today I have taken an option, means I have paid $5 to take an option to sell the share at $50 in future. So I will be getting $50 in future. Overall, my cost is, or I am going to get $45. So if the market price is below $45, that is when I will typically break even. So that is where we say in case of put option, the break even point comes out at the strike price minus the premium that is typically paid. And if we see in case of put, as the market price is increasing, you will expire the option because you can sell the share into the market. Why should I sell it at $50 to you? So I'll expire the option and the max I am going to lose is $5. And if the market price is going lesser and lesser, 49, 48, I have an option to sell it to you at 50. So I'll sell it to you, which means I will gain that $2, $3. But on the other side, I have lost $5 because I have paid a premium. So until 45, I'll start recovering my loss to some extent. But if the market price goes below 45, then probably I'll start making profit. So these are the 4 different strategies: buy call, sell call, buy put, sell put. So these 4 graphs you have to be comfortable with to start with, right? The long call graph, long put graph, short call graph, short put graph. So once you know the long position, long call, long put, the mirror reflection of that is nothing but short call, short put kind of position. Apart from that, okay, so probably we'll take up one numerical here to see the comfort level on the most common kind of questions which we can expect as far as this chapter is concerned. You see here, suppose that both a call option and a put option have been written on a stock. Means you have sold a call. So there was something called sell call, sell put with an exercise price of 40. So X is 40 in both the cases, right? The current stock price is 42. So S is 42 in both the cases. The call and put premiums are, so the call option premium is $3. The put option premium is available at $0.75, right? Now calculate the profit to the long and short positions for both the call and the put. So basically he is asking about sell call, sell put, or even buy call, buy put. Because long and short position for both put and call. Right? So buy call, buy put. He wants us to find out what is the profit for all these people if the stock price goes to 35 on the expiration date. And another example of if the stock price goes to 43 on the expiration date. Now let's look at, so it's always better to look at only the buy perspective because sell is the mirror reflection to that. Long position is what it's better to look at. The short position will always be the mirror reflection to it. Okay, let's look at the buy call strategy. Right, the strike price is 40, which means it gives an option to buy the share at $40. Right, as a long put, as a long call, you have an option to buy the share at $40 in future. Right, what is the market price? Market price has gone to 35. Because, so you will not exercise the option, you will expire it. So the loss is to the extent of premium minus 3 is the loss if the market price goes to 35. So because for this guy it is minus 3, for this guy it will be plus 3. It's a mirror reflection. So you don't need to exclusively calculate. Now let's look at buy put strategy. Put strategy will tell me to sell the share at $40 in the future. Right, $40 is what I can sell the share at. What is the market price? 35. So I'll sell the share at 40. So I'm getting $5 profit. Minus $0.75 is what I have incurred as the premium for that. So my profit is going to be $4.25. So for this person, sell put guy, the profit is going to be minus 4.25 or loss is going to be $4.25. Now the same way you try out if the market price goes to 43. In case of buy call, it's more like buying the share at 40. Market price 43. I'll buy it at 40, get a $3 profit. $3 is the premium. So no profit, no loss. So here it is 0, which means for this guy also it is 0. Look at the put. If the market price goes to 43, I'll not sell the share at 40. I'll expire the put option. Right? Expire the put. Minus 0.75 is the loss. 0.75 is the loss. So for this party, 0.75 is the gain. So these are the typical common things you have to be comfortable with as a part of the calculations associated, because the most common things, this kind of data would be given and he'll say on the expiration date, if this is the price of the stock, what is the gain or loss, right? Then from an option strategy standpoint, in this chapter, two strategies are primarily covered. One is called as the covered call strategy and the other one is called as the protective put strategy. Simple way to understand these strategies. Covered call strategy for us is nothing but long stock plus short call is what we call as a covered call strategy. And there is one more strategy called protective put strategy, which we'll see in the next slide. This is nothing but long stock. We have already used this word protective put when we talked about the call put parity relationship. Long stock plus long put. Long is nothing but buy. Buy a share plus sell a call option. That is what we call as a covered call strategy. Buy a share plus buy a put is what we call as a protective put strategy. Now how they work? Let's look at some numbers. See, let's say today I have bought the share. So when I say buy one share plus sell one call, that is what we are calling as a covered call strategy. So let's say I have bought one share, buy one share, probably let's say I have bought it at 2000 bucks today, right? sell one call for let's say strike price equal to 2050, right? You sell one call where the strike price equal to 2050, and let's say the premium for that kind of a call is available at 30 bucks. The premium for that is 30. So in this, what is happening? Today you are paying 2000 bucks to buy one share. Now when you have sold this call, what does this mean? The buyer, don't ever look at it from a seller's perspective. Seller of the option perspective is always a mirror reflection to the buyer, because seller does not have the option. Buyer of the option only will have the option to go forward or back out. So always try to evaluate from the buyer standpoint, and negative of that is the seller standpoint. So look at it there. You have sold one call, 2050. So what does that mean? The buyer of the option can buy the share from you at 2050 bucks sometime in future, not today. Today obviously you will not buy because it is available in the market at 2000. So probably it's a kind of a future transaction wherein you have said you are ready to sell a share at 2050, right? After let's say 3 months or 6 months, you are ready to sell a share at 2050, and the buyer, he has paid a premium of 30 bucks for that, which means today you have received 30 bucks as a part of the premium, right? So basically it's like today you have incurred only 1970 bucks. 2000 bucks for buying the share, out of it 30 is paid by someone in the form of a premium. So you are only literally paying 1970. Now look at it, in case in the future the market price, let's say after 3 months or 6 months when this is going to expire, let's see what all is going to happen in this. Let's say if the market price goes to any of these numbers, if the market price goes to 1900 on that day, what is your profit or loss position? On the share, what is going to happen? You are losing 100 bucks because you have bought the share at 2000, the market price is only 1900. So you have lost 1000 bucks, 100 bucks. What about the call option? Is that party going to exercise the call? No, because the market price is only 1900, he will not buy it from you at 2050. So he will expire it, which means you have got $30, 30 rupees or $30 as the premium. So you have lost 100 here. So overall your loss is only minus 70. The same way if the market price is going to 1950 instead of 1900, the same thing, that guy will not exercise his option, but for you, you are losing 50 here. Out of that 50, 30 you have recovered in the form of premium. So your net loss is 20. But when it goes to 2000, you are getting into a net profit of 30. The reason being, this person will not, for you there is no profit, no loss on your share because you have bought it at 2000, even the current market price is also 2000 at the money. So basically you got 30 rupees in the form of premium, so that is your profit. Whereas if it goes here also it is 30 only, or probably on your share you are gaining 50. On your share you are gaining 50, 2000 and 2050. On the share there is a gain of 50, and at same time you got some 30 in the form of premium. So your total profit is 80 here. Whereas what about 2100? You have gained 100 on your share. But you have to remember, now this guy will exercise his call option. The person who has bought the call from you, he will exercise the call option because market price is 2-1. you will lose 50. So you are still gaining 50 plus 30, 80, which means whatever the market price is, you will still gain your 80 if at all the price is on the higher side. So this kind of a strategy, if we are typically plotting the graph of this, if we are typically plotting the graph of this, this kind of a strategy is what we call as the covered call strategy. So basically, if the reason why it is called as a covered call is you are selling a call, but you are covering it with a share so that you don't lose. You are reducing the loss that is getting incurred. See, let's say if you had not taken a sell a call, if the market price has gone to 1900, you would have lost 100 rupees. But in this case, you are losing only 70, which means you are reducing the size of your loss by entering into this kind of a strategy. So we are reducing the loss on our share by, so if there is a downward side, it will typically block, if we are expecting that the price is going to fall down in future, we can generally look at selling one call option so that we will recover some amount of loss in the form of a premium collection, which will reduce the overall size of our loss. So that is one kind of a risk mitigation strategy using a covered call position. The same way, so basically it is like enhance the income by trading the stock's upside potential for the premium. So we are typically collecting some premium. So whatever is the loss, the size of the loss is getting reduced because of getting into such kind of a mechanism. But yes, on the upper side, we don't have a chance to go beyond that 80. The maximum profit which we can get in that transaction is to the extent of 80 only, which is again observed from this number, X minus S naught plus call premium. So in our case, what are the numbers? X is the strike price, 2050, minus the initial purchase price of the stock, 2000, plus call premium. This was what was our maximum profit. Right? In all cases, anything beyond 2050, our profit was touching only 80. It cannot cross 80 at all. So the typical, when you remember the graph of the covered calls, you can say which one is limited and which one is unlimited kind of stuff. So that's a typical position called covered call position. The same way, we have another protection, another scenario called a protective put. Going by the same, let's say here, I'll say buy one put. If I say buy one put for the same strike price and all that, now what will happen? If the market price goes to 1900, on your share you are still losing 1000, 100. On your share you are still losing your 100. But what was the put option for you? Sell your share at 2050. You can very well sell off your share at 2050 if the market price has gone to 1900, you could have easily sold off your share at 2050. So you are gaining 150 in that. But out of that you have paid a premium of 30, 120, and you have lost 100 on your share. So 20 is the profit for you. What about if the market price goes to 1950? 50 is the loss on your share. Right? You have to do step by step. That's where it's easier to do the calculation. Okay, you have bought the share at 2000. 50 market price came to 1950. So 50 is what is your loss with respect to share. Now look at the put option. As per the put option, you can sell the share at 2050. The market price is 1950. So you are gaining 100. Right? You are gaining 100. You have already paid 30 as the premium. So you are gaining 70. Out of that, you have lost 50 on the share. So your position is a gain of 20 here. See, if the market price, so look at these two as two different transactions. So you have bought the share at 2000. The market price became 1950. So you have lost 50 rupees on that share. That's the only profit or loss there. Now look at the put option. You have bought a put option. So because you have bought a put option, you have already lost the premium by paying 30. Now you are able to sell the share at 2050, 100 profit. So these are the total transactions. So you are left with 20 rupees as the profit. Now the same way you look at the market price going to 2000. On the share, no profit, no loss. Still in the as far as the put is concerned, because you have bought a put, the premium you have incurred is 30 bucks. You are still gaining 50 bucks. Right? So 20 is the profit here. Fair enough. What about 2050? On your share, you are gaining 50. Right? In the put, the guy, I mean, you may or may not exercise, doesn't matter. Minus 30 is incurred. So you are still at 20. Look at the last one. You have gained 100 on your share. Right? Now, put, you will expire. Right? Because you don't feel like selling the share at 2050 when the market price is 21. So you will expire the put. So there is a minus 30 which is lost. So overall your gain is 70 here. So what will typically happen is these are the numbers. So this is called as a protective put strategy. You are limiting your downside loss. So for a person who already owns a share, probably if you have to generalize the scenario, for a person who already owns some shares, two major strategies for him to work out are either a covered call strategy or a protective put strategy. In a covered call strategy, along with the share, he is selling a call option. In the protective put strategy, along with the share, he is buying a call option or buying a put option. So these two are the strategies that are available. So in this case, the downside is limited, but upside is unlimited. Any kind of a defective, any kind of a problem that comes out, he will not lose more than 20 bucks in this transaction. Right? So these are the two key strategies which we are covering in L1. Right? Apart from the typical buy call, sell call, buy put, sell put kind of basic strategies, a kind of combination kind of strategies, we are talking of only these two of them here. But yeah, as we move along, we'll understand that there are some tens of strategies like this, some spread based strategies, some combination based strategies, some multiple options kind of strategies. All these kind of strategies are there. But yeah, the base wise, you just need to be comfortable with these two types of strategies, at least to start with, right?